Start with roll call attendance. Josh Muchart. Here. Renee Mankey. Here. Brittany Wold.
Here.
Patrick Stanton.
Here.
Gary Up.
Here.
Jessica Evenson.
Here.
Sarah Feeney.
Here.
Nick Shuey. Here. Renee Skiles.
Here.
Joseph Bryant.
Here.
Todd Shiver. John Dehan. Sharon Jonathan are all excused. At this time, I'd like to move on to the agenda approval. A couple seconds to look over the agenda. At this time, is there any discussion on the agenda? I entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Jessica,
So moved.
is there a second? Brittany seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? Nick Shuey abstains. Motion passed. I'd like to now move to the approval of the minutes from the February 18th meeting. At this time, is there any discussion on the minutes? I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the February 18th meeting as is. Nick, so is there a second? Josh Muchart seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? Patrick Stanton abstains. Motion passed. I'd now like to move on to reports. I have no reports at this time.
I do. I'm going to pull up the budget recap. I am going to apologize. Sharon is out this week, and then as a reminder, she's going to be gone next week as well. So any of the things that may have been sent to her that she would have, make sure those get to me for next week's meeting. But anything she had, we don't have access to unless it was also sent to me. So let me pull up the... She did want us to go over and review, and I know this is hard to see. I know this was sent out to all of you in advance. This is the breakdown of where we are right now with this year's budget, based on all the way through last week. The only pieces on there as you look have not been put into effect with the numbers here. The three that were approved and went through last week. Some of them are on here. The other pieces we're voting on tonight are these three right here. And then there's one new one tonight, which is this last one. It says spring conference on here. We have it as annual concert. But it's the one we have coming up tonight. So we're currently sitting at $62,401 remaining in our supplemental funds. So that does not take into account anything we're voting on tonight or being proposed tonight. And as Nick did the math last week, that puts us at 50% of where we started at the year. Yeah, JD?
Is there a way we could have this changed on for the PESH? It says here they asked $7,100 when realistically when they reformat it, it's $7,750. And the reason why I say that is because I don't want it to get into the idea if somebody goes back and looks at this and the S&A committee funded more than what was asked, and that's traditionally not something we do.
Yeah.
And so I don't want that to become because that's not accurate of what actually happened. Out of context, people can take it that way.
Yeah, we can bring that when Sharon gets back. I don't know, since this is her form in the student funds office, if it's simply the amount that was asked on the initial request, and if it has to stay the same, or if that's what it is or not. Because yeah, they did ask and amend it the day of to show that. So we'll check with her on that.
Sounds
It
good.
was like the source of the 30,000.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah.
And then they amended it the other day.
So it may simply be that whatever the initial request is what's
Okay.
on here.
And that's fine if we can't.
But we can ask when she gets back. Any other questions, comment, discussion on this? I would simply point out, again, we're at 50% that we've used up this year, at 50% remaining. We are about halfway through the year. So in that context, although we don't know what other requests and things we do have coming up, and again, traditionally we'll have winter and spring quarters, we have more requests than we do in fall, so, but every year is different, so we won't know. But so for the committee, simply be mindful of where we're sitting financially, and continue to be prudent with our finances and what's going forward, so. That's all I have.
Thank you. Now I move to communications received. I have received none.
I have not received any. There is one that came through that we'll be discussing as a committee here once it officially gets to us. I do know that we received some communication about a potential student fee coming forward that may have some impact on some base funding areas that we fund. It was sent to the student government office as well as to the Dean of Students office, but once we get more clarification and pieces on that, it will come forward to the whole committee simply for review. It is a potential proposal for an arts fee or an arts fee that may be coming forward on the spring ballot, but that does impact some of our base funding areas outside of that. So.
And by the impact, you mean it might reduce some of the pressure to this
It could
source of
potentially,
funding? Okay.
yeah.
But it,
There's still, yeah. Once we get it officially sent to us with whatever's the finalized before the S&A, then we'll have a better idea of what their plan is with the S&A funding. Yeah. So.
I was just trying to get a general sense, would the demands or need be going up or down, should that roll through?
Yeah.
Potentially down.
Potentially down. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now I'd like to move to section 7, public comment. This time is any public comment. Seeing none, we can move into old business, supplemental funding requests for voting. And now I'd like to open the table up for discussion for the supplemental funding request 1513, the CMBAM Observer Sales Team for the amount of $2,839.98.
And I do just want to comment, if anyone needs to, since Sharon's the one who normally has these on the computer, we don't have them, but I think most of you have them physically, otherwise I can go pull them up on my email, but I don't think, does anyone need me to do that with any of, okay, perfect.
Is there any way to know if they got the SAS?
Yes, we were allotted $900. Yeah.
Is there any further discussion?
Proposed budget, section C, it states that there's a revenue source for 600, but it doesn't list the student academic incentive funds of 900. But that would change the allocation out from 2,839 to 1,939, assuming that's.
Yes, our point, right? Yeah,
Well, I do want to point out, anyone who's looking at the previous funding request, remember we had the clarification last week that the amount they were requesting was $2,839.98, which is correct on this week's agenda, but if you're looking at the previous funding request, if you didn't make notes on it, it may show a different balance.
Nick?
I move to approve the $2,839.98 for the college media business and advertising managers.
There's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Jessica? Seconds? Assume?
Yeah, I'll say.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor for the approval for the full amount, the amount of $2,839.98. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we move on to supplemental funding request 1514, the Women in Aviation Conference for the amount of $2,000. Table is now open for discussion. Nick?
We did not receive any updates on fundraising efforts. Joey, is that right?
We've not received any communication on.
Just like to remind the committee that even with the, if they were to get the funding after we would fund it, we would be able to absorb those funds, because we wouldn't allow that one.
So is the fundraising we're talking about the clubs and this thing? Is that?
I was talking about the Krispy Kreme donut sales that they were having
Oh,
last
that's
week.
right, that's right.
Is there any other discussion or motions on the table?
Does anybody recall how many students were staying in each room? Nine, six, seven, five.
That's it.
I don't remember off the top of my head how many. They didn't give us a breakdown at all. How many days is this thing? 4 days. I think at a minimum they'd have to do at least 2 rooms. A minimum. And if they did 2 rooms over the 4 days, that'd be like, I'm not a math major here, so. Yeah, 180. I was gonna say about 190, but I was close. Which seems about right. Any discussion or motions on the table?
Are they Zoom by chance?
Is anybody here to represent the Women in Aviation Conference?
No one was here last week.
And Nick, did you make an explicit request for information on the fundraising last week? We did, and there's no response.
Josh?
So I was hoping that they were here. Because really my only concern with this request is that the 9 students are going, but I don't remember them talking about in particular how, or I'd like to ask how this isn't going to just benefit these 9 going, but the rest of the program, the students who can't go. That's what I wanted to ask them about. I just think that's something that we can keep in mind with this.
Nick?
This is an item that will be voted on today, because next week is the event date on the 4th, which is actually 1 week from today.
Joey?
And just for a point of clarification, I do know off of what your comment was, Josh, they did discuss briefly, but those are questions that we would want to make sure we're asking during the day of the presentation, because there is no requirement for presenters to be here while we vote. The
Sure.
expectation is that we have all the information in advance. And I did also want to point out, not knowing that they're fundraising, because they did have one, I believe, this Monday, and then they have another one coming up this weekend, it looks like. Based on their breakdown and from the presentation they had last week, any money that's left over, if they were to be allocated the $2,000, that puts them at $5,000 revenue, not counting fundraising or personal cost, which still puts them about $1,700 below the expected. part of that being, and Sharon did want me to preface the fact that S&A is not allowed to fund registration costs. That's not what they were asking, but since that is a large chunk of the expense piece, that would be coming from their own fundraising and personal.
I believe it's membership cost.
Yeah.
Or membership costs, sorry,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
membership.
like especially last week.
Membership costs, yes, we can't do registration. I was thinking of the other request, thank you.
I feel like it probably did answer the question that you have, because I usually, well, I don't know. I usually try and ask people that if they don't answer that. It's a big one, but I can't remember what they would have said. I don't know if you have anything.
It's written in their own objectives, the last statement.
Well, and
But
to
how
go
other
off of
students
that
are
too, I do know that it was mentioned, but I do not know,
What the justification
Yeah.
was.
Pretty
I
sure
do
we
not
talked
recall.
about it, but.
yes.
Yeah.
But they did address it in their
Yeah.
presentation.
So are we, that 1695.95 that they are missing? Do we know if that's what the cost that they're absorbing? Because
They said they're paying some out of pocket last week.
The response they had last week, because I did ask that question myself, was that's, part of that will be whatever they get for fundraising. Anything fundraising doesn't cover up, that will be out of pocket expenses.
Nick,
I move to approve the amount of $2,000 for the Women in Aviation Conference.
it's a motion on the table.
Can I say that?
Is there any discussion?
Such a polite.
I was preempting to see if anybody had one, but you beat me to it. That's why I went. Motion has been seconded. At this time, is there any discussion? All those in favor for approving request 1514, the amount of $2,000. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Now we can move on to request 1515 for the NERSA conference for the amount of $3,176.75. Table is now open for discussion.
So I have notes on here that say that the actual request is much lower than, I have 17, 16, 75. Because their airfare and their hotel, they got funded through the rec center or something? Is that,
Oh,
no,
or,
I-
oh no, they're not funding it, they're just
Yeah.
fronted them.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay.
We got that at first. but then-
Additionally, there is food included in that request. That's another third of that.
So, they might just have included food in like the total cost without actually asking us to pay for it.
And just a point of clarification, this was the request, I was supposed to bring up the membership fee part.
I can't count. No, that's fine. That's fine. I can. Is there any further discussion on this request?
I think that if you look down in the budget explanation, it says that because of the deadline for the early bird registration, the university fronted us the money to receive cheaper registration, as well as reasonable airline tickets. Okay, so, but then I also have marked off here that their hotel budget was like cut in half. So guess I,
So the recreation department is paying that on behalf of the hotel bill.
That's right, rec department.
okay, so the request is actually lower than the 31 then?
No.
That's
No.
a little faster.
Just the clarification, and if you look in the minutes from last week, it has the breakdown on there. They're requesting $3,176.75, which is for one room at $1,124.35, 2 round-trip airfares at $592.40, and 4 registrations at $14.60. Yep.
Is there any further, Josh?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, supplemental funding request 1515 in the full amount. As listed.
There's a motion on the table, is there a second? Nick, should we,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
At this time, we move on to new business. Going into supplemental funding request 1516, the ASCW annual concert for the amount of $7,000. Are you doing it or is?
Sure. No.
Rob was doing it, he
No,
was.
Rob stepped out for a moment. I'll just leave it at
All right.
that.
Okay, well, to keep this rolling then. I entertain a motion to table this until Rob Lane gets back in the meeting and in the time for that, move to a base funding program review for KCWU FM radio. That was entertainment. Is there a second? Jessica even seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nick Stewie abstains. You have the floor, sir. And you have 10 minutes.
I will try to do it in 10 minutes. We'll see how close I get.
Go
Hi, I'm
fly.
Travis Box. I'm the general manager of KCWU. We will go through this as fast as I can because I'm going to throw a bunch of information at you. Stick with me at the end, there's a video. So, I will tell you that I started September of 2013, so I am an authority from that point till now. Anything before that, Scott Drummond will probably be the guy you want to talk to. So with that in mind, next one. Let's take a snapshot of where we were in 2013. We had 1 pro staffer, just me, 14 student employees, 36 student volunteers. These were the volunteer hours for fall quarter of 2013. 54 hours of live programming per week, and that year we did 123 events. Now, we are fully staffed, 4 pro staffers, 22 student employees, 52 student volunteers and growing, 1,700 volunteer hours for fall of this year. We're now doing 83 hours of live programming. We're on track to do approximately 160 events. We've been awarded Best Podcast from College Broadcasters Incorporated in 2014. We've been nominated for 10 Intercollegiate Broadcast System Golden Mike Awards, including Station of the Year. Stay tuned, we'll know next week. Excellent. So, student employees, our student supervisors earn $975, the other student employees earn $950. Here's a list of some of the positions we've added since 2013. We are making an emphasis on modeling our station after a commercial radio station, and we're trying to do an industry standard experience. Excellent. Programs and services we provide, we'll split it up into 2 parts. Internally, we do volunteer airtime. No prior experience, open to all students. The training is done one-on-one from student trainers. And once you pass your audition, you can be a music DJ, you can work in our news department, our sports department, or you can have a talk show. We also have a volunteer event staff, because when you're on track to do 160 events, you need it. No prior experience. Again, we're trained by the student promotions coordinator. Other services we offered, we sent 10 students to the College Broadcasters Incorporated conference because it was in Seattle and it was cheaper then. And then we're sending 4 students to the IBS conference in New York next week. And those students come back and do reports. So any of the experience or knowledge that they gain at these conferences, they come back and share it with our program. Next slide. Externally, we're a radio station. We offer music, news, sports 24/7 on air, online, and mobile. All the formats we offer are based off student listener surveys, so it is what they want. 83 hours of student programming. We currently offer 5 weekly podcasts. We have a robust website, blogs, mobile app, and a comprehensive social media platform. The events we do are split into 3 categories. The originated events. Bergstock is our Battle of the Bands. That's our signature event. And this year we launched College Radio Day, which you might have seen back in fall. Then partnered events, stuff like Zombie Bash, the Ferguson Town Hall, the MLK celebration, the Freak Night EDM show we partnered with Campus Activities on. And then hired events. We do dances and sponsored events, and we earn revenue for that. Who we've partnered with. This is actually the short version of the list, but there's probably nobody on campus we haven't partnered with since we got here. So, next. How we get our input. Internally, we do core staff and air staff meetings twice a month. This year, we launched a campus community radio committee that consists of student volunteers, student staff, pro staff, and then members of the Ellensburg Downtown Association and the Kittitas Chamber of Commerce to try and bridge that town and gown divide and really make it a robust radio program for the entire community. And then we do an internal volunteer staff survey every year. Externally, we do a big listener survey. It goes out to all the CWU Ellensburg students, and it's a very comprehensive survey on what we offer and how we can do it better. And then anytime you want, you can come in, you can call us, you can email us. We take input because we want to be better. Thanks. Learning objectives. We're campus life. So we share the same learning objectives that they do. Leadership and interpersonal skills, professional and non-cognitive life skills, critical thinking and decision making, diversity awareness, inclusivity, and community. How many are served? So this is based off last April's listener survey. I will be really curious to see this April's because it should be better. But 76% of respondents listen at least once a week, if not more. 30% of it is online or mobile. We skew slightly female. And juniors were our biggest audience last year. Next. How do we support the university's goals? There are 4 things that as a professional staff, we work under here at the radio station. We need to stay relevant. We need to be visible. We need to be integrated. And we need to be on a path of some sort of financial self-support. So this year we're starting a pledge drive. We've started a Berg Alumni Association. We're working with University Advancement to try to find ways to really supplement what you guys get. So, and all of that is building an elite radio program that promotes recruitment and retention here at CWU. But none of that captures what we really do. So next slide. This is a student-produced video they made to recruit other students into the radio station. And this is what we use this year.
You're listening to 88 The Berg, your Miss Essential. Whether you're in your car, on your phone, or in the comfort of your own home, 88 The Berg is the best way to hear new music from practically every genre. You're rocking here live with the Berg's very own DJ Dirty Snowball. And up next we have Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers here on 88.1 The Berg. I've been at the station for 3 years. I hang around here a lot. It's like a second home to me. Everybody's so welcoming. Everybody's so open to who you are and just talking to you. And it's really awesome because we're all friends outside of the station, we're all friends inside the station. And that's what I like about it is we do a lot of events like game release parties, we do dances, we do our Battle of the Bands, Bergstock. But the station as a whole is, to me, it's my best choice to get Essential because, again, maybe we're friends, it was a great way to get involved and meet people and network people in other departments of the student life at Central Washington University and throughout other departments of the college.
This life is more than just a read-through.
KCWU 88.1, this is Dirk Dastardly, your host of The Garage. And right now, we got Foxy Suzanne with I Wanna Be Yours.
I'm Dirk Dastardly, and even though I was only here a few months ago, I've got my own show, things are going great, I'd love for that to come. And everybody here is really special, they all embrace you, it's one big happy family, and the vast music collection that really allows you to go through there and pick out the best playlist for your show. Can't really think of another place I'd rather be and rather start off my career in the radio business than 88.1 Bird.
Please join 881 The Berg in thanking D&M Coffee, serving Ellensburg since 1990, providing fresh roasted coffee, baked goods, and entrees at their 4 locations. They are currently serving their lavender lemonade and lavender lemonade smoothies, as well as espresso beverages. For more information, you can visit any of their locations or look them up on Facebook or at dmcoffee.com. D&M Coffee, proud supporter of 881 The Berg, your music central. My name is Elena. And I'm the brand manager here at 881 The Berg. It's absolutely amazing. I do all of our social media, all of our events and promotions and marketing and all of that kind of stuff, and it's absolutely fantastic. I've never had more fun at work before in my life.
881 The Bug. This is Selector Step, and you're tuning in to Reggae Lovers every Sunday from 12 to 2. You just heard the song Subline, Doing Time. So coming up, we have lots of reggae music. This is just awesome because, we don't plan it, but things just happen in a great way, you know what I'm saying? So you're tuning in with Selector Step, and you've got lots of reggae music. Keep tuning in to 881 The Buzz, your music central. All the DJs or the host, whatever you want to call yourself, I think we have one goal, and that is to bring the best of what we do and to give students the best of what the radio station has to offer. After 2 years, I can testify that everything that you do here is worth it. As long as you're dedicated and you're not doing it for selfish reasons, then you're really going to bear some good fruits out of this. So when I came in, one of my good friends, Tyler, was on the training, and I'm so thankful for that because I guess I've been killing it.
So if you want to get involved here, come on down, pick up an application. Once you got that filled in, turn it into the meeting or the application turned in the mailbox. Once you got that done, we'll start training. It's going to take about a month, two-hour sessions every week, and then you'll know everything there is to know about radio. No experience is required as long as you're an outgoing person, you have a passion for music. We have slots open right now for training in the fall. This is 881 The Bird, your music center.
My name is Miscellaneous, and this is your Music Central, 881 The Berg.
I am Selector Stepper, and this is 881 The Bug, your music central.
I'm DJ Dirty Snowball. This is 881 The Bird, your music central.
I'm Dirk Dastardly, and this is 88.1 The Bird, your music center.
So that's what they put together. And I've gone over my time. So are there any questions? Otherwise, we would like to invite any of you down at any time to take a more comprehensive tour of the facilities and meet some of the students that are in this program. It is just a great group of students who are doing tremendous things. To give you one final thing, the College Radio Station of the Year Award, we share that field of nominees with California State University, Long Beach, Gannon University, Oregon State University, and NYU. And then us. So that's what we've been doing since 2013. Thank you.
Support. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now we're going to bounce back up here, and we can go into the new business of supplemental funding request 1516, the ASCW annual concert for the amount of $7,000.
Oh, just this will work better.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of updated information on it. How's it going, guys? I'm Rob Lane. I'm Vice President of Student Life Facilities. Sorry if I'm not seeming super outgoing today. I just had a 2.5-hour auditing test, so I'm feeling very bogged down right now. That's okay. I'm excited to be here. So essentially, I'm requesting $7,000 in support of supplemental funding for the ASCWU annual spring concert. It's AC. Just checking. Just go straight to So, it actually started this summer with the idea of why doesn't CWU have an annual event in the springtime? We started looking at prices for artists and things like that, and as the year moved on, it actually seemed like we had a very good chance of getting this done through the partnerships that we made in the ASCW itself. Now, it's our goal to actually create a self-sustaining event that we can host every single year through ticket prices that the student government can plan and throw on. And I think this is an awesome idea because this would not only create a fun, awesome event that we can have every spring, but this also gives our student leaders the opportunity to plan an important and like business-like event. So our supporting artists that we've identified so far are Rassimone and Sam LaChow. Both are very upcoming artists, and they're both from Seattle. And this is the theme of our concert. It's a Seattle hip hop art show. Sam LaChow actually is going to be performing at Sasquatch this year, so that's a pretty great honor for him. But they both actually performed with Soul at Western Washington this fall, and they sold 1,500 tickets. And I actually was able to talk with the campus life director at Western, and he said that they sold out in one day. So that's exciting. And then we're thinking about the possibility of adding a fourth artist if the cost is right. So I'm excited for this. So that brings us to our headliner. Our identified headliner would be Soul, who's been out for a little bit now, released his first album in 2009. He's performed with a lot of big artists, including Blue Scholars, Big Sean, Wu-Tang, Macklemore, and Mac Miller. Like I said, he performed at Sasquatch last year, and he's toured all over the West Coast. Soul's album, Yours Truly, also got to the top of iTunes hip-hop charts. So you're probably asking yourself, why are all these ASCWU student departments supporting this event? And so we all have different spins at why we'd like to do this event. For me, since I'm student life, I'd like to help instill more pride and tradition on our campus through the creation of an annual event, something that students can get really excited about. For legislative affairs, they're going to be able to promote the student government elections because this is actually a week after the election. Our proposed date so far is May 15th or 14th, so that'd be a week after the elections, and we'd be able to promote the elections through this concert. For community and equity, just some more supporting the community cause, much like myself. I know Spencer also agrees that he would like to see more life and tradition on this campus. For clubs and orgs, they actually also support this event because the Club Appreciation Week is this week as well, so that's exciting. For academic, their reasoning was just to support student life and, you know, provide a fun activity for our students at the end of the year. I know that there's a lot of student appreciation days during May, so this kind of fits right in with them. And then overall, our goal is just to create an event that we can have each and every year. So now I know you guys are all waiting to get to this point, the budget, expenses, and revenue. So I'll start with the expenses, and just so you know, this Monday I was able to meet with Scott Drummond, Keith Champagne, and Sharif Wilson, and we took a lot of the cost estimates off of the Macklemore concert, and so I would say that they're pretty predictable. Something that you might be confused about is the total funds needed to throw the concert. It is at $3,630, and as you see, I've requested $7, but I'd actually like to lower that amount because I don't need the full $7. What I was really hoping for out of you guys was to obtain this $36,300, $3630 with adding an additional $2,000 for unforeseen costs. And the reason that I would like to do that is because if you do not use supplemental funding from S&A, it'll actually go back into your account for next year. And with the anticipated expenses being at $25,000, I think having that $2,000 buffer there, especially in the first year of the event creation, I think that it'd be important just in case there are unforeseen costs or if there was damage done to the wreck or anything else through this event, because I don't want to run into anything unforeseen and have other people be on, basically have it be my fault but other people share the cost for it. So, but at that same point, I'm very confident that we could get this event done for $25,130. So, moving over to the revenue, I have $5,000 committed from ASCVU Legislative Affairs, Community and Equity Affairs, as well as clubs. $1,000 from Student Life, $2,000 from the general budget, and $3,500 from Academic Affairs. So the optimal amount that I would be requesting from you guys would be $6,130. So I know it's kind of jumbled, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to answer all your questions. So the ticket price is taking the estimated total expenses with $25,130, dividing it by the 1,200 tickets we could possibly sell in the Cirque Ballroom, which would give us $20, roughly $21 per ticket. I think we could even hopefully get that down lower. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
Does the board have any questions?
I did want to just make sure, because you have on the revenue side that you're requesting 6130, but then on over here you said funds requested is 5630. Which one is the actual?
Sorry, it's 5630.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure we have it on our.
Yeah,
so
no, I'm sorry.
5630 is actual requested.
I edited this really quick before I came here. So.
That was also my question that I said.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're-
Honestly.
So is there a plan, or could you just plan if you get like, if you're at day one, you sell 1,000 tickets, and the buzz about it is pretty high, and is there a possibility you could move it to like the pavilion so you could facilitate more people?
So this question's actually been brought up, and Dennis Francois actually in support of this, but it would cost $10,000 more roughly. Is that correct? So if we want to change this to $15,000, more than happy to have it in the pavilion. But at that same time, a lot of people with this event idea, when I first came up with this, they said, you know, it's just more baby steps. Let the new board come in and take this somewhere. So I'm just trying to start this up. I think it'd be a really good first.
And then one final question. Is your intent to, so that would be the estimated ticket, you're covering your costs there. So you would get that $25,130 back, or?
Okay, so yeah, it would essentially we'd have that money
For
for our
next
ticket
year.
price for the next concert. And I mean, it's in my opinion, $25,000. You should be able to throw a pretty good concert with that. And I mean, I really think that basically my idea behind this is like, yeah, our school's in the budget. We're going to be facing budget cuts in this coming year. How can we make it so it doesn't matter? And through the creation of this event, we can have it be self-supported, through ticket prices, have it be a student-run event that we can enjoy every single year, where people are excited. And then if you actually go to the next slide.
I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, so my examples are WWU's Longstock and WSU Springfest. Even though WSU isn't really a good example because they have artists year-round, I think WWU is a great example because they're our rivals. Even though we're not, I mean, it's really like, if they can have something like this, why can't we have something like this? And then when you look at strategic alignment, sorry, pulling out big words here, strategic alignment with the university, the founding of a event like this would actually support ours in the fact that we're trying to recruit and retain students, and that's an issue right now. So I think that from that point of view as well, this is a good idea. And also, I've sat on the S&A committee before last year, and I can honestly say that this is a really great way to affect a lot of students, not just you. So that's how I feel about this. This is my presentation. I don't see any more hands.
Any other questions on the board?
Any other questions? I'm not.
Wait,
So, can we go back to the budget? So, the total expenses and the total revenues on this slide are the accurate numbers, not the ones listed out?
So basically, it's just been like probably 2 weeks ago. I started going through the funding requests in this process, and we just got our latest amount added on Monday of $2,000. So I actually submitted it. I think. Well, so it just wasn't.
So the total expenses on this is 24.
Yeah, it's not. That's the expenses on that's not accurate. It's the expenses. So here's the expenses are $25,130. I would like to put in an additional $2,000 to bring that total to $27,130. With with my intention of not using this money at all and having it go back in the account after this year, after the fiscal year ends, which would be this summer, correct? But, yeah. So, done.
Cool. Any other questions from the committee? All right, thanks, Ryan. We'll vote on it next week.
Is there any way I could ask you guys to vote on this one?
We have to run that through the board and it has to be towards the end, but. The gallery is requested to discuss and vote on this evening. I don't know. I'm not going to entertain a motion unless the committee would like to have a motion entertained for that.
Gallery?
Yep.
So Rob, what's your rush? Like, what do you need it today?
I would just like to obtain these days so Sean and I can record as soon as possible because at the same time we are working with engineers who are being solicited by everyone else. And so from that standpoint, I would like to get this project done and as soon as possible. Just because.
Josh?
So make a motion to approve the voting for this request to.
This evening, after the base funding review of the career services.
So make a motion to move voting for this request to after the base funding program review career services.
Motion on the table, is there a second? Renee Mankey seconds. Any discussion?
I just want to make sure to point out, because we're fine to do this, it's within the pieces, but just to make sure that it's not a normal procedure unless requested ahead of time. So just for you all to make sure that additional groups coming forward may make the same request within the same day and time. We definitely have the ability to, and we're following the normal procedure, but just for you all to know.
Normally I wouldn't speak on anything like this, but I agree with Rob's rationale and I think that it is an important thing to move forward as they already have a lot of stuff on their plate as well. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? Nick Shu abstains. Oh, Nick Shu and just Stevenson abstain. Patrick, did you?
I was gonna try to vote for.
I
got distracted.
Okay, it's all right.
He didn't
We
make
are
it that fast.
okay. Motion approved. We will vote on this right after we do our base programming review for the career services. West Side counselor, are you still there, Angie?
She's not muted on her side.
Yes, I am. I'm still here.
Alrighty. So. Okay. Oh, okay.
And it's just there to answer questions.
Sweet. Cool.
Yep, I got it.
Okay, great. So I'm Vicki, I'm the Director of Career Services. counselors, well, she's a counselor at Des Moines, and then we have Mary at Linwood, who can be with us tonight. So I also just wanted to let you know if you need more information, I brought some handouts, but I'll try to give you all you need in this. And I also wanted to thank the committee for continued funding, which we really appreciate it. We couldn't do it without it, actually. So go ahead. We've had this funding since 2008, and so that's 7 years. And currently we're employing one student peer advisor. Usually we have one peer advisor every year on the west side. We have one on this side. The wage is $10.50 an hour. And how do we decide what programming we're going to do? Definitely it's generated by attendance and participation, because the centers are a different kind of thing than it is on the main campus here. The department or the faculty can demand to us to do particular workshops or presentations or whatever they think the need is. There are only so many majors on the west side, so we focus on what majors, what do they need. And then, since they're very small, the counselors can talk with employers and faculty, etc., to decide what kinds of stuff they want to do. And then every year we meet and discuss our overall goals for career services and how that's going to impact our centers as well. How do we get input? Students surveyed during orientation, and I think that's every quarter. So they have 3 questions that go on career services, and we got that information from the students. Student clubs as well. We get a lot of input from them because there's some pretty big clubs on the west side. And then every time we do an event, we have a survey, and we take information from that survey to figure out what we need to do better. How do we collaborate? This is just an example of some of the employers that we've collaborated with in the last year. And there's all sorts of goodies. Mostly they come through events, but also the counselors bring employers to do presentations and workshops. A little bit of variety there. So you can see that there's some really big names, and that's probably because it's easier to get them when they're on the west side than they are to come to Ellensburg. So we do field trips to employers, we do workshops with them, and also summer boot camps, which next slide help with. So we also collaborate with faculty. We get faculty help with presentations as well. Trips, when we go out to employers, we take faculty with us. And boot camps that happen in the summer are usually run by faculty, and Angie and Mary go on those field trips with them. So College of Education, we have a particular workshop for them. And College of Business, we do a lot of work with College of Business because it's a big major. Supply Chain Fair, Fall Fair, Sports Summit, boot camps. So these are 3 boot camps that they run that Angie has gone out with to visit employers with the students. And then Fall Accounting Recruiting and Accounting Career Event every year on that side. And then College of Science. And then also this spring quarter, we're going to be working with the College of Arts and Humanities to do a couple of field trips, one to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and the other one is going to be to a bunch of museums. So students in that college will, and faculty will be going too. So student services, I think the counselors on that side do a lot of work with their team at the centers. So student life, they did a LinkedIn workshop together. They're working with a nonprofit career fair, which is next week, and their student life is helping to pay for a bus to bring students to our ed fair here in Ellensburg, and then student orientations, special veterans events, for the College of Business Fair, advising. They do a workshop together. We work with the international advisors, the library, and the writing center. So those are all the partners pretty much at the centers, and we do workshops with them all. The community colleges, we also collaborate with them. In fact, the counselors are pretty heavily involved in setting up the joint fairs that they have there. So, in fact, I think there's one next week. It's the health fair. It's actually at Edmonds, not Highland. So those are just a few of the collaborations with the community college. Next. Learning objectives for student employees, so peer advisors. How to help them learn to be role models mentors, they're going to gain professional work experience, better communication skills, also professional skills doing presentations and workshops, surveys. They also have developed skills with resume writing, cover letters, interviewing skills, and how to use technology to do presentations, etc. How to work independently, because usually peer advisors do work fairly independently, so it's a great thing, and as a member of the team. And then these are the learning objectives that cover our class, University 301, which the counselors teach, as well as for their workshops. So we're trying to help students understand about themselves, self-awareness, how to figure out how to get to the career they want to go to, developing an action plan to get them there, and to put a portfolio together, the documents they need to show that they're ready and willing to work. This student contacts, I just gave you the last 2 years. Student contacts include things like face-to-face, email, phone, and Skype. So we do a lot of those. And that's just the student contacts because the counselors work with employers, faculty, etc. And we count everything. So as you can see, over the last year, it's increased more. We have more student contacts. And that's probably because we bumped up the position to 12 months instead of 10 months of the year, or 11 months of the year. So, okay, how do we support the university goals? So, enhancing student success through, we call it co-curricular activities, right? Those workshops and presentations. Obviously, we like to use learning outcomes to make sure the student employees are getting a good experience and that the students are getting good experiences in our presentations and workshops. We are the folks that are responsible for collecting information about graduation, and we're still working on that actually. But we're also the folks that keep track of all the internships for credit on campus, and so the Westside counselors help students find internships, make sure all the documents are right, do all the problem solving if something goes wrong. So they're very involved with that. And of course, we're constantly trying to get better at what we do. So we're also the folks that have a lot of contacts with employers on campus, and we continue to develop those relationships because our goal is to try and get students in front of employers, right? Whether it's for internships and for jobs. So that's why we're working to develop more relationships. The field trips we just started doing last year, so that's really been quite successful to actually take students to employers. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. Do you have any questions? Maybe Angie. Angie, do you have anything you want to add?
I just wanted to say, just an example of some of the workshops we've done just in the last 2 weeks. Today we had a LinkedIn workshop with 24 students, and that was attended by some of our faculty and some students who do not yet have LinkedIn profiles. We know that 90% of recruiters are looking at a student's LinkedIn profile to identify talent. Next week we're hosting a career week with a nonprofit fair. Also some, again, employers we're hosting on campus. So our success rate for students finding jobs is just terrific. It keeps going up with the more employers we're connected with.
The only question I have, and I don't know, Angie or Vicky, go ahead, either one of you, looking at the increase in the contacts with students, because I know you said that one of the counselors moved from 11 month to 12 month, but that's a pretty significant increase. Has there been an increase in workshops or outreach or education or something that could also be attributed to that?
Well, I think yes. The answer is yes. They do a lot, and Angie can speak to this too. We also made Des Moines more of like a career center, like its own independent career center. So I think there's a lot more interaction. And because it does include phone and email stuff, I mean, that's a lot of students just want to do that too, right? It's not just face to face. And we can't give you an unduplicated because I know you want that, right? But that's really hard because a lot of our traffic is repeats, right? People come in and then they come in 20 more times. So, but yeah, it is a significant increase, and I thought it would go down, but it actually did not. So that's the good news. Angie, do you want to add anything?
Yes, I do try to offer more workshops to try to reach more students, and that would be the reason for the increase. It's a different model that I have in making the offerings.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angie.
Good.
All right, at this time now we can go ahead and jump into the discussion for voting for supplemental funding request 1516, amount of $5,630. Table's now open for discussion. Renee.
So I have a question for you, Rob. Are you guys gonna come up with a name to make it anything?
Yeah, so that's like where we're at right now, and I've been asked about this question multiple times. Scott brought it up too, and he said, what's the name gonna be? Whoever comes up with the best name. Like, I don't know yet. I mean,
Right.
I would really like to make it like a branded annual event. I know Scott had the idea. Everyone has like a spring fling type thing. We could kind of go with that name-ish, but I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to figure out something that's like unique to our campus.
Is there any further discussion?
Well, if it does, if there is, how many tickets do they think they're gonna sell? 1,500? 1,200. So 5,600 divided by 1,200 is bang for your buck as far as touching the population compared to a lot of these others.
And add on that, I think the fact that this will, kind of give it a kickstart in its, the kickstart for sustaining itself, and that it is funded very well throughout the ASCWU. They're taking on the heaviest portion of the funding, which I like to see. I think it's a very, very good bang for your buck. Josh.
I would like to entertain a motion, or make a motion, to approve supplemental funding request 1516 in the amount of $5,630.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nick Shuey abstains. Motion passes. Yeah, motion passes. All right, now I'd like to move on to public comment second call.
Sorry. I didn't mean to abstain earlier. I just realized after I did it, I have no reason to. I don't know if there's a way to go back and change that or not. I was literally like zoning out. I know, I just don't know if it's okay if I said yes to that when I abstained earlier about. I just didn't know if that was like a.
If it passes.
What is the exact question you're asking right now?
Okay, earlier I abstained and I literally said that.
From the vote we just did.
No, from approving to move it to later. I just abstained. So I should know.
It's still approved.
I was just gonna say I should know if that made a difference if okay. One of those moments.
Is this the same vote that Patrick accidentally did?
Was it? Yeah, see, I was in the jumble and I'm just saying.
I was watching her.
Yeah,
okay.
see?
Just kidding.
I would like to make a comment that unofficially, because I'm not qualified to crunch numbers, but just looking off this, based on what we approved this evening, we're assuming it all passes to the Budget and Finance Committee. We're about 48,000.
I wrote it down on my board for what we're at.
48,754.
You're pretty close. I just did an estimate. That's about 40, just under 49,000.
Yeah. So we're just under 49,000 unofficially until it all comes back. Just keep that in mind as we go through the next coming weeks, and that we are. Any other public comment? It's been a very long day. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for adjournment. Jessica, second. Brittany seconds. Any discussion? Just want to remind everybody, next meeting is 5:30 here at Circular 1. All those in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Meeting at 6:37.